Yo, what's good? It's your girl. We are back. It is Thursday. Typically I don't really get on here on Thursdays, or whenever, but today I'm going to look at GBPJPY. Look, man. So last night on my classes, what I did was hold on one second. Last night on my class, I talked about, we went into detail as far as how to actually execute the Fibonacci retracement. And I think it's very, very, very much important that we understand what fibs are, how they work, what they're made for, what their uses for, because I think a lot of people sometimes have a misconception of Fibonacci, have a misconception of support and resistance. And I think it's important that that when you are learning how to trade, that you are definitely understanding the purpose of your indicators, right? So I say this all the time, that when you are actually what's the word I'm looking for? When you're actually introduced to a new indicator, don't just automatically go into your demo and like, I'm sorry, not your demo. Don't go automatically go into your live account and start using that indicator without actually understanding what is the purpose of the indicator, how is it used. You want to really do your research on when you're trading, because I tell people all the time, it's like trading is very, like, it's a different skill, right? So I think everybody should learn something different from what they know, right? So I went to school, got all these degrees, right? So when Forex came along, it was a different skill set. I think it helps the brain when you learn something different. That's why they tell you to read books. They tell you to, read a massive amount of books. You have to feed your brain because you want to learn something different than what you already know, right? So the thing about learning a new skill set, it helps the brain work all around the board because you're using a part of the brain that typically may not use before, right? So you are tapping into a different side. And I think it's important that when you learn different things, it makes your whole entire brain work better, right? So psychology major was like, I got a degree, I got license, all whatever, about, because I'm a licensed therapist. So the thing is that when you are utilizing a part of your brain that's normally just doesn't get used, it starts to operate and work together in other parts of your brain, make things different, reasoning, understanding, all those different things start to work together, especially when you start learning something different and you have to utilize a different part of your brain, right? So that's a whole nother lesson. I can talk about the parts of the brain all day long and what does what, but we are not here for that. We are here for GJ. So look, I have GJ up and we talk about the field. We talked about learning different indicators. And I tell people all the time, understand the indicator, right? You have to understand what the indicator is used for. I have to say that because you have to understand. Just don't say, oh, okay, I'm gonna draw a field, and you don't really understand what the fields are, right? So we could go into a history lesson about what Fibonacci, who created it, why it's there, all these different things. With trading, there are certain indicators that you're going to use in order to execute your trades perfectly, right? We can't predict the market, but we can draw it up, we can mark it up, we can say, oh, hey, I think it may go here, I think it may go there. We have no idea, right? So let's go ahead and let's look at, I'm going to go ahead and take this fib off. um and so I'm going to actually take off my moving averages as well. So I do definitely use my fractals, and fractals are amazing with your fractal. So it definitely gives me my lows and my highs. And it's a good way if you don't know how to really read your chart with the wicks and the candles. It is definitely a great and amazing way to show your what's the word I'm looking for, highs and lows, right? So it is an amazing way to actually show your highs and lows. I think it's a really good way to do that. So I'm actually going to take all of this off because I was looking for this yesterday, so I was trying to figure out what this was. So I'm gonna take this off. All right. So this green, I'm going to keep that up because this green line was actually on the daily, and it was resistance and support on the daily. So I'm going to change the color to green because for my daily chart, I use green. So I'm actually looking at it on the hour. So I see that I color code my chart. And of course, I'm at a low on the hour, and it actually just kind of sitting here to kind of bought back up, and it actually just stopped here. So one thing that I do use, and I'm going to go ahead and put my moving averages back on. I use all exponential, right? So I'm looking at my 800, looking at my 200. I clearly see that this is a resistance area. So this is letting me know that my candles are not breaking through this resistance. Remember, top floor, right? Top floor, ceiling, floor. So this is my ceiling. So I can clearly see, and I got a fractal right here, and I got another fractal. So this is allowing me to say, okay, hey, I can't break through this resistance area. So chances are I'm not going to take the trade because there is no identifiable trend. There's no trend. This right here, this is a trend. We clearly see that this is going what? Into a sell from a high to a low. Right here, there's no identifiable trend. It's moving sideways, which we understand if a trade moves sideways, there is something about to happen and take place. It is Thursday. So we are maybe expecting some type of move either later on or either tomorrow or next week, right? So don't really know, but I think that this might do something later on tonight during the London session or tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I try to stay away from the market on Fridays. I really don't trade on Fridays, but I've actually been doing a lot of practicing in my demo account because I'm learning a different way to trade. And even though I'm trading in my live account, I haven't really traded my live account. Well, I can't say it's been off and on, right? So I trade live, I trade demo, I trade live because I want to really practice and I want to perfect my skill, right? So I think trading in your demo account is a way to perfect skill. So that's why a lot of my students, they know that, hey, I'm with you in this journey because I'm also teaching myself, and I'm also learning different skills because trading is so many ways to different trade. But I like to keep things simple. I like simplicity. I don't like a lot of things just all over the place. So I love the fact that I can trade simple, and GJ is a very good pair to trade. I trade it sometimes. I don't really look into GJ. I trade gold. I like USD CAD. I like GBP CAD. I also like Euro CAD. Those are the ones I trade. I used to trade Euro GBP, but for some reason I just kind of stared away from it. It just doesn't really move the way I want it to move. But gold is really my top tier. I think I need a book on gold because I think I have perfected the gold analysis to a point where it works for me in the simplicity of trading. So, but that's another thing. We'll work on gold later. But this is GJ. So right here is my 200 and my 800. And I talk about this in my class. What the 200 stands for, what the 800 is for. It is support and resistance, right? So I know that my 200 and my 800 moving averages are strong resistance and support levers. So I can clearly see that I'm not going to take this trade. It's not buying. It's not doing absolutely nothing because it's not moving. And this is the thing we have to understand too. If we utilize FinViz, and I utilize FinViz because this tells me the strength of my trade. So if I go down, I can clearly see that my JPY, my Japanese yen, is weaker than my Great Britain pound. So one thing that I do know, don't worry about the red and the green. You worry about the base and the quote. So I talk about this. I teach this. These are things that you have to understand about trading, right? You have to know what's strong, what's weak, what's moving, what's trending, what's high, what's low. So right now I got GBPJPY. So you can clearly see they're right next to each other. The negative 0.42, negative 0.55. So this means these are the percentages. This means there's no trend because they're sitting right next to each other, even though the Japanese yen is weaker than the Great Britain pound, because that's my quote. So I know that if it's right next to each other, there's no trend. And I can go to trading view and I can clearly see that it's moving sideways. So I'm not even going to take the trade until there's some strength in the candles. Right now, there's no strength in the candle. So there's no need for me to take the trade. This is the time that I actually just say, okay, hey, I'm not going to worry about this trade. I'm going to just mark up my chart and I'm going to wait for it to alert me. This is where you're going to mark it up. It's okay. It's still the beginning of the year, you guys. We have to understand cryptos are going down. This it's a lot of things happening into the world right now. Like things are going up, food, houses, everything. Yeah, everything is going up in prices, in percentages, right? And it's going to continue to go up. But then there's another thing that the cryptocurrencies are, they're dipping. And I call it a dip. I don't call it a crash. I call it a dip, right? Because it's going to go back up. There are people that have lost thousands. There are people who lost millions of dollars in their cryptocurrency because there is a dip. But a lot of people put their money in gold because gold, once again, is a safe haven and it's safe. And gold is a commodity. And they're like, hold on, let me pull out my money out this crypto because it's crazy right now until I can, get back up. And a lot of people are saying, man, I know how to trade. Cryptocurrency is dipping just like a trade does. So guess what? I'm gonna buy in a dip and then I'm gonna raise it back up. So we all have a different way of learning and doing things differently, but we just have to understand that, man, you have to just diversify your money and understand how to utilize different skills because there's nothing wrong with working a job. There's something wrong with only working a job, right? There's something wrong with just having just one stream of income. It's nothing wrong with, hey, I'm going to put my money in cryptocurrency. Hey, I'm going to trade Forex. Hey, I'm going to do a decentralized way of making money that the banks don't have any control over. You don't put all of your money in crypto. You don't put all of your money in Forex. You don't put all of your money in these investments. You diversify. You split it up. You have a portfolio. That way, your money is spread all across. That way, when this one happens, this happens. So you have to understand these are what wealthy people do, and you have to be attached, and you have to learn, and you have to open your mind to different things that are here for you. So let's get back to it because look, I could talk about this tomorrow on the podcast that I am on episode 3. We are going to be episode 3. We're going to do it tomorrow. I am actually going to be uploading all of them for your streaming pleasures. Technical issues, always technical issues. And, I'm getting my tech team together so we can figure out what the hell is going on with my podcast streaming. It's just, it's not me. It's not the audio. It's not anything. It's just, I think it's the technical issue of getting it uploaded. And maybe it's just, it's my way of saying, hey, Jewel, it's gonna take a little more time. And it's okay. I'm always patient. So I'm gonna have all this up, tomorrow. And I'm gonna have all the other episodes that you guys can listen and just, figure stuff out. So right here, we can clearly see that it is at a resistance. So we're not going to take this trade unless it breaks this resistance. Point blank, period. Like, that's just what it is, right? So let's look at what's going on right here. So let's go ahead. And when we talking about, taking the trade, look at the fib. So what it depends on what time frame that I'm looking off of. I always draw a fib either on the 30-minute, the hour, or the 4-hour. I actually like going to the 4-hour or the 1-hour. And my personal opinion is because it definitely, for me, it helps me see the trend a whole lot better. So the thing that we have to understand, like, yeah, we're going from a high to a low to a high on that particular time frame. So I can clearly see that on this 4-hour time frame, this is my last trend. My last trend from a low to a high, because I can clearly see this is my low, this is my high. So this is my high, this is my low, because this would happen when it hit this area. But I'm on the 4-hour. I'm not reaching a low yet. I've reached just on the 1-hour I did, but I'm not drawing the fib on the 1-hour. I'm drawing the fib on the higher time frame because that's what I want to look at. I'm going to actually put my fib right here. Now, I have actually utilized my Fibonacci. You could always do the default settings, which is no problem. I just prefer it this way. I'm gonna go to the default settings so people can see exactly how it looks. and it's different color coded. Like, it's nothing wrong with color coding your fib. That's perfectly fine. I just, however you want to look at it. So everybody knows we got the 178%, 618, 50%, 38%, 23%, 0, right? So we have to understand, and this is what you have to understand, the 3 levels that are your golden zone are going to be your 23%, 38%, I'm sorry, your 38%, 50%, and your 618. If you clearly can look, this turquoise bar, that support is the low on the 1 hour. So if I go to my 1 hour chart, there we go. It's my low. So if I was to draw a fib on this particular trade, I'm going to go from this trade to here, because that was the last trend that was formed on this on this 1 hour chart. I'm going to go to the 4 hour. So I clearly can see on the 4 hour that this is my 618. Everybody has to understand your 618, your 50%, your 30%. These are what we call the golden zones. Anytime that your candles come to these 3 different levels, there's going to be some type of reversal, right? There's going to be some type of action. Something's going to happen when it reaches these particular levels. So I always mark up, and I know that once I get onto this trade, like, oh, if I'm looking for the 4 hour, right? That's what I'm looking for. So let me go ahead. If I want to trade off the 4 hour, let's extend it right. If I want to trade off the 4 hour, which I'm not, but I need to see this overall trend, because on the higher time frame, it's trending up, right? It gave me a reversal because it hit a high and then it came down to this particular support, which was the 618 on the 4 hour. So we know that if it's a 618, it's bouncing off the 618. It bounced off the 618, and now it's hitting this area of resistance, right? So we know on the 4 hour, if it's bounced off the 618 on the 4 hour, it's a chance that we're going back up, right? So if you're trading off of that and you're saying, oh, I trade off the 4 hour, I like the higher time frame, this would be your opportunity to say, okay, this is the last highest low to high. It hit my 618, bam. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the trade, right? I'm not going to get in it right now, but if it breaks this resistance on the 4 hour, I can potentially take the trade to the next area of resistance, would be right about maybe here or at this actual next level, which is the 23%. So I can clearly see that I have a lot of fractals in between this area. And we are on the 4 hours. So let's understand this. My 4 hour is pink. So I'm going to make this a pink support and resistance. Here, 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 here. So that is an average of what? That is about 65 pips to the next resistance on the 4 hour. So if you want to hold the trade, if you want to, swing it, that is a great opportunity, right? So then you say, okay, well, look, I like this 4 hour trade deal. I'm going to put my moving averages on the 4 hour so I can see exactly what's going on. And there we go. Voila, 200, 800. It has to break it. It has to break it. It has to break the resistance. So if it breaks the resistance, I'm going, because I've already hit my My 618. Now, I've bypassed the 50% and now I'm at the 38%. Remember, 38% to me, in my opinion, is a strong area. So it's saying, hey, if it hits this and it breaks it, I think I may have a continuation for the buy, right? Because that's what the trend is saying. Like, hey, GJ, and we went back to FinViz, the Great Britain pound is your base, JPY is your quote. My base is still in front of my quote. So I'm still technically, I could be going into this buy, but right now I just don't have enough strength for it. Or I could literally just hit this area of resistance, the 318, because the 38%, excuse me, I keep saying 318, because the 38% is technically a strong reversal. So it's like, hey, I could hit you and go back down for this sale, because I actually hit the 618. I actually hit the 618 here, gave you this massive buy, and now I'm hitting a resistance area. So the only thing left for me to do is either break it, go back up, and hit this area of high again, or I can break it and come back down and just kind of complete the trade, right? Because if you go to the 1 hour, and this is on a one, I'm on a 1 hour because I've hit a high, I've hit a low. So now I'm just sitting here. But if I'm looking at the 4 hour, I can clearly see that I have my 50 moving average here, which is a trend. So I'm still in buy mode. I've hit this area of what? Support, 618. I've hit this area of what? The 38%. Right now, you're at an area that you do not take the trade unless it breaks it. That's just point blank, period. Right? So now I can clearly see that this is what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to take this off. Let's say I wanted to actually trade and mark up my Fibonacci on the 1 hour, right? Or the 30 minute. Let's just go for the 30 minute, right? The 30 minute high to low. So this is my 30 minute high. I'm going to make it black because that's what I like on the 30 minute. And this is my low on the 30 minute, right? So we clearly had this. Now, this is not a for real live trend. I can't mark up anything like this, right? I like to see the whole shebang. And the thing is, we got to see what's going on right here. Where is this last trend form? So when you don't see a trend on the 30 minute, if you don't see a trend on the 15 minute, you got to go to the higher time frame. So if I go to my hour time frame, if I go to my hour, I clearly see that this is what? The high, this is my low. That's it. I'm going to draw a fib on my hour time frame. Same thing. Look at where we are. We're at the 50%. Remember, this is different types of time frames and trading. If you want to trade off the 4 hour, you have to allow your candles to break. If you plan to take that buy, it's going to go back up at some point. So you can hold it, you could do whatever, you could just wait, set an alert. If you're trading off the 1 hour, this is your entry. I'm looking at the last trend that was formed, which was this sale because it went from the high to the low. So now it's like, okay, where are you at? Sorry. Where are you at trend wise? I'm sitting at the 50%. Remember, golden zone, 38%, 50%, 38%, 618, 38, 618, 38%, 50%. These are my 3 areas of reversals. Anytime my candles hit these 3 levels, percentages, something's going to happen. So if I clearly look and see it hit what? The 318, bounced off, continued. Hit the 318, continued. Now I'm just sitting here trying to wait for what's going on. It bought all the way back up to what? My 50%. Well, actually, it just hit the zone. So it hit above the 38%, but it's in between my 50 and my 318. But if I go to the 4 hour, I already know that this is what? This is that area of what? Resistance. Like this is your 618 and it bounced off on the 4 hour. So it's like, hey, I gave you a buy. Now I'm sitting in between these 2 zones. Like I'm sitting in between this zone. I'm sitting between this zone. I'm not forming a trade. So right now I got some type of momentum for the buy, but I still have to break what? This zone. I still got to break this area. And if I break it, retest, of course, I'm going to take it for the buy. Right now, I just can't do that. So when I'm seeing these things and I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I don't really have a lot of strength. I'm going to go to my Hakanashi candles. I'm going to see. I don't really have any strength right now. And there's no trade for me. There's no trend. There's no higher highs. There's no lower lows. So really, to be honest with you, I can't do anything unless it breaks here for the sell. And I sure can't do anything unless it breaks here for the buy. And that's on the 1 hour. If I go down to the 30-minute and I do the same thing, my 800 is sitting right above that zone. So I already know that I'm sitting, my candles are coming into the zone. So even if it buys here, I still have to let this break for the buy. And that's the part of waiting. Some people hop in. Some people say, I'm going to catch me some pips. You could go on the 5-minute. You could go on the 15-minute. You can scalp it. You could do whatever you want to do, because guess what? It formed a double bottom right here. And they said, ooh, give me my money. And now we're sitting at what? A daily resistance and support. This is a green daily resistance and support. So it hit this high, sold, came right back around. We don't know. We don't know what it's going to do. We have no idea, but we do know this. On the 5-minute, my trend line is sitting here, my 200 is sitting here, my 800 is sitting here. So even if I do, it would have to break all of this for me to take the trade, to take it for the sale. Because if it takes it for the sale and it breaks this, you got 23 pips. So it's really up to you which time frame that you want to look on, but you got to understand when you're working with these Fibonacci's what's going on. So look, I just want to do a quick little analysis and markup on GJ. Man, I don't know what it's going to do, right? It's Thursday. It's the end of the week. I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's going to go for the buy. That's my opinion. And I'm just giving you a technical analysis of this. If I look at every time frame, I think that it's going to break it and we might have a buy. Because if we look on the daily, it definitely formed a double top, hit this top, hit this top. It has to be complete. I think it's going to do some type of, and I'm gonna take this back. I don't think it's going to do a buy. I don't know right now, but I think on the daily, it did I hit you once, came down, I hit you again. I feel like that it might have to make that completion of this pattern of this double top to come down here and then give you the move that you want. But for right now, it's just not doing absolutely nothing. So either way it go, set an alert, support, resistance, set an alert. If it breaks up, you got you some action. If it breaks down, you got you some action, right? So that is GJ. That's a quick analysis, man. Look, we are going to, man, we're gonna learn. Just study your things, study your indicators, study everything that you need. Yeah, I don't think that's it. That's all. I looked at gold. Gold definitely came right back to our area of support, y'all. Like this is what I be saying. Like, it's going to continue down. Let's just be clear about trading. Let's be very clear, you guys. Like, let's be super duper clear, right? Trades have to complete themselves. They have to come to an area and do a completion. We are experiencing a death cross on the 1 hour chart for gold. Gold gave us a death cross on the 30-minute yesterday. It sold. It's at an area of support right now. It hit a fractal. It hit an area of support below. But let's be clear and let's be very understanding. This is the next zone that gold hit. It's going to somehow make it back. It's at an area of support right now and it pulled back. It's doing a retest. If it does not go back up, it's going to retest this resistance. And I think that eventually it's going to come back to 1780, 1787 at some point. It just has to at this point. I mean, like I say, you don't have to. You ain't got to do nothing. You don't have to do nothing. But it has to actually hit. So let's just see. Well, look, we're at the 200 on the daily. So now we've hit this area. If it breaks it, you see where that gold at. So I don't know. I think it may hit it going back up. So that's why you gotta go to these higher time frames. I'm not fooling with gold right now, you guys. Like it's not doing anything I needed to do. I wish it was doing something. I caught a buy on gold. I caught a buy on gold 2 days ago. So gold has definitely, like, Finviz already called it out. Like, it gave you this sale. It gave you the sale that you were looking for. It is bright Christmas red. So it gave you the sale that you were looking for. Let's go to investing.com. Let's see. We're gonna see, y'all. Like, it ain't nothing wrong with seeing. If you don't know how to use investing.com, I'm not looking for AUD USD. I have a video up of how to actually navigate through investing, because it definitely is just another confirmation for me. It's a way to actually look at your trades that you're looking at and seeing what's going on. So gold definitely is down 15.47, negative 85%. It's definitely down, but right now it's at it's at a support area. So when you see this flipping green, red, it is letting you know that it definitely is doing some type of reversal. So we don't want it to be going up and down. We want it to be fully in action, going to an area. And you actually have on investing.com, you actually have a chart. You can go to it. You can look at it. You can go into the daily. You can go to weekly. You have all these different options to actually show you exactly what that trade is doing, where it is, understand and read on gold, read what's going on with gold. Definitely gives you all the stocks. So investing.com is definitely a great way to understand and read up on your different pairs that you're trading. But this is where I come and get all of my information about gold and just the understanding of gold. So investing.com is very good to actually understand. Finviz will give you the strength of your currencies. Let's look at the DXY real quick before we get off. DXY. Remember, DXY is buying. This is the dollar. Gold is always going to be doing the opposite. Remember that. It's always going to be doing the opposite of the dollar. So the dollar clearly was in a bullish momentum. DXY was bearish, super bearish, right? Strong. Let's look at AUD USD, because we know that gold always correlates with that. And there we go, guys. Right? You have to understand your pairs. You have to know what correlates. You have to study and realize what's going on out here and study skill. This is not just because I want to get some money. This is because I want to help other people get some money, right? It's not about me getting money all the time. I need some money. I'm getting some money. I'm going to get some money. But if I can actually help somebody else get some money, I'm going to help them get some money. So appreciate everybody getting on, understanding and learning this skill set. And yeah, like, this is what we are. GJ, gold. It's a great day. So yeah, I'm signing off. It is your girl, the mother, and we'll be tuning in for another markup, technical analysis, however you want to look at it. But yeah, appreciate everybody hopping on, and I'll check you guys next time.